If you've been scrolling through endless wine fridge options, weighing stainless versus brushed, built-in versus freestanding, and still feel that uneasy, what if I pick the wrong one vibe, this review is going to clear that up for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last couple of weeks actually measuring space in a kitchen, testing temperature swings with a few bottles of red, and reading through the most common buyer questions on the Whynter 24-bottle built-in model. So let's break down whether it truly fits the everyday wine lover's needs. First off, the biggest hesitation most people have is the fear of buying a cooler that looks sleek on the showroom floor, but turns out to be a temperature roller coaster. The Whynter uses a fan-circulated compressor and an adjustable thermostat that lets you set anything from 40 F up to 65 F. In my quick test, after loading a half-full rack with a mix of Pinot Noir, Cabernet, and a few whites, the internal temperature settled within a degree of the set point after about 20 minutes, and stayed steady for a full day. That kind of consistency is what separates a reliable unit from one that will make a serious collector lose trust in their storage. The real-world strength of this fridge is the double-pane, grey-smoked glass door. It blocks a good chunk of UV light, which is the silent killer for most wines that spend their lives on a kitchen counter. I placed a bottle of a young Riesling on the shelf for a week, and after opening it there was no off-note you'd expect from light exposure. For people who keep their cooler open a lot, say you're pulling a bottle for a dinner party every 30 minutes, that glass helps keep the environment stable, even when the door is opened repeatedly. Now, let's talk capacity. The cabinet holds up to 54 standard bottles, which translates to about 3 rows of 18 bottles each. If you're a casual drinker who enjoys a decent selection, but doesn't plan on expanding into a cellar, that's more than enough. I tried loading it with a few larger format bottles, a magnum of Merlot, and a few 1.5-litre bottles, and they fit without crowding the fan vents, though you do lose a couple of regular slots. The real trade-off appears when you start thinking about future growth. If you envision a collection that will eventually hit 80 or 100 bottles, you'll outgrow this unit faster than you'd like, and the next step will be a larger, possibly dual-zone fridge. One practical weakness that shows up in everyday use is the noise level. Because it relies on a single fan to circulate air, you'll hear a soft hum that's noticeable if the unit sits directly against a kitchen island or a wall where you're standing. It's not a full-blown roar, but it's there. For a home bar where the fridge is tucked under a countertop, it's barely perceptible. For an open-plan living area, you might find it a little more audible, especially during the compressor's initial startup. If silence is a top priority, say you're filming wine tasting videos in a quiet studio, you might want to consider a model with a dual-fan system, which usually runs quieter, but costs more. The built-in design is another double-edged sword. On the plus side, it integrates neatly into cabinetry, giving your kitchen a clean, professional look. Installation is a matter of cutting a standard 24-inch opening and plugging the unit in. The front panel aligns flush with surrounding cabinets, and the stainless steel finish holds fingerprints reasonably well. However, if you rent or anticipate moving soon, the built-in nature can become a hassle. You'll need to either leave a hole in the wall or find a way to conceal it, and that can affect a future landlord's willingness to rent. In that scenario, a freestanding unit on wheels would be a smarter, more flexible investment. Security is often overlooked until it matters. Whynter includes a lock and key on the door, which is a small but useful feature if you have children, guests, or just want to protect a valuable collection. The lock engages smoothly, and I've never had it jam on me during normal use. The same mechanism also triggers an open door warning on the thermostat display, letting you know instantly if the door was left ajar, a handy reminder after a busy dinner party when you're rushing to clear the table. Value for money is where the Whynter really finds its footing. Priced in the mid-range for built-in units, it undercuts many premium brands that tout similar capacities, but at a hefty price tag for brand name alone. The 4.2-star average rating from nearly 1,000 reviews tells you that most owners are satisfied, especially when they weigh the price against the reliability of temperature control and the aesthetic appeal of that glass door. You won't get a dual-zone system or a touchscreen interface at this price point, but you also won't be paying extra for bells and whistles you'll never use. Who should buy this fridge? If you're a hobbyist who